afternoon, participants. Good afternoon, Dr. Lakshman sir. Welcome you to the last day of our FDP program, that is an application of emerging technologies in business. Am I audible to all?
Ma'am, a little bit of disturbance is there.
Yeah, okay. Now it's okay, sir?
Yeah, now okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for your response. Yeah. Good afternoon, participants. I welcome you all to the last day of FTP and last session before the valedictory. That is by Dr. Anshuman Kallagaru, who is from University of Finland, University of Oulu, Finland. Sir, I welcome you to the session, sir. The last session of this FTP, that is on application of emerging technologies in business. Good afternoon, sir. I welcome you, sir. I request Dr. Anshuman, sir, to take the session.
Yep, thank you. Good afternoon, all people. Hope you have all had a wonderful learning and knowledge exchange session. So I, being the tail ender who's gonna deliver the last hour of the session. All right. So I think I had a couple of questions yesterday, and so I have shared my my slides to the co-coordinator of this FDP. She's gonna share with you all probably. Other than that, I am gonna give you a couple of links which might help you to understand how you can create your own private blockchain. Of course, it is gonna be more a very software intensive process, because you need to have a lot of programming knowledge and a firm background to work in this direction. Also, probably I saw the schedule that there were sessions which were talking about how you can create simple smart contracts and create small decentralized applications. So I hope that were all very fruitful to you. So what I'm gonna do is that in the post probably I'm gonna put a couple of links that might help you, right, to better understand and to learn more. So these are just some of the pointers, but not all, right? And before I give you those pointers, also I had a question with one of the participants, probably, if I remember correctly, Mr. Sanjeev, right? Asked me to share some insights about how blockchain can be used for HR, for human resource, right? So I quickly did a search on different different kind of databases where research papers are usually indexed, right? And I found a couple of papers in this direction, very interesting papers. I'm sending in the post the link for those papers. I think these will be good initial literature to start exploring what all things have been already done, and what other things you can do in this space, right, in the HR space. Okay, other than that, you can Google my name as well. So I'll try to share with you the link for my Google website. There you will be able to see links for a couple of demos for different decentralized applications, DApp, which I have developed in my research work with my students. So this will help you. In this site, you'll find a couple of demos. Of course, not very much pertinent to in which field you are, but still, it can give you kind of a flavor of how these things are working, and how how you can program and develop a different decentralized application, right? All right. Also, I will towards the end of the session, if I miss, please recall me. I can share with you one link with of Hyperledger Fabric, where the release 2.0, there is extensive documentation there which can help you to understand how you can develop decentralized application, and as well it can help you to understand how to create your own private blockchain using the Hyperledger Fabric, which is actually provided by IBM, right, under the umbrella of bigger umbrella of Hyperledger project, right, the consortium. All right, so with this word, I would start with my session for today, which is going to be on the use of blockchain to fight against COVID-19, the current pandemic that we are going through, right? So, just if somebody can give me a feedback, are you able to see the slide? If somebody can help me with that. Yes? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So now I'll take you through a very interesting and in fact very much required, I would say. It is the need of the hour that we need to find technologies that can help us to combat the current pandemic. And it is not just that even after the COVID-19 era, that is that people say usually as post COVID-19, we are going to have a lot of challenges because the things have been turned upside down during this about almost last 1 year. So we need to find back ways and tools and technologies that can help us to get back to our normal lifestyle and have the same level of living lifestyle. All right. So with this, I think I'll start with how we can use blockchain to fight against COVID-19. Right. All right. So the session is planned in 3 different parts. So we'll start with a quick look at COVID-19 and related challenges. Then in the second part, we are going to look at a couple of use cases of blockchain technology that can help us to tackle the current unprecedented situation caused by COVID-19. And then towards the end, we are going to look at various technical challenges and possible solutions to mitigate them, right? So I think all these different sections are very much interrelated, and towards the end, the technical challenges and possible solutions would be interesting for the people who are having much stronger technical background and they want to improve the things in the blockchain space. All right, so let's get started. So let's start with the part 1, which is COVID-19 and related challenges. So the first challenge is how we can maintain social distancing. Given the fact that there is no precise licensed medicine for coronavirus, the world has adopted social distancing as one of the methods to slow the spread of the disease and flatten the curve, right? However, the problem is that social distancing is a kind of a challenge because, in general, human beings are not habitual of such drastic restrictions, right? And all the day-to-day activities such as shopping, transportation, medical treatment, schooling, etc., they all need close human interaction, right? Moreover, many studies have revealed that such measures can lead to isolation and negative social impact, right? So, of course, it is very important to have social distancing, but the point is that it's difficult because we are not habitual of it, and at the same time, even if we adapt it and we try to isolate ourselves, it is actually leading to different adverse social, physiological and psychological impacts, right? Another challenge is that the need is that we need to fight against COVID-19 pandemic. It is essential that we need to share important data such as number of affected patients, active cases, critical cases, recovered patients, and how many number of deaths have occurred, etc. Moreover, this sharing needs to be done in real time, right? Because if it is taking days of delay, then probably we are not able to take immediate and proactive actions that can help us to predict future patterns, or how the things are going, whether they are improving or they are worsening. So this is important, right? Also, the security and privacy are critical when sharing such a personal and sensitive data, right? And if it is kind of manipulated or forced, then it can lead to different kind of havoc. And since, as I said, that since the digital data are prone to security and privacy attack, thus we need ways to trace the tampering and protect privacy of the patients, right? So it's very important to trace the privacy, to trace the tampering. If we know that this data has been tampered and kind of mutated or illegally forged or something, we can drop that data, and we know that this is not correct one, right? So right now it is very important. At the same time, privacy of the patients are important, right? So we need to find ways in which we can share the information, but the personal information is not leaked, right? So anonymously we want to share the information, right? Also, the WHO also mentioned, if I remember it correctly, that another problem that is kind of plaguing our system, entire system is plagued by now with this problem, which is fake infodemic. So it's very difficult. Every now and then we are also receiving messages, but it's very difficult to segregate which is authentic and which is just kind of it carries no authentic information, right? So fake infodemic is actually kind of a parallel problem that is actually aggravating the pandemic COVID-19, right? So what constitutes this fake information or fake infodemic is hoax news, right? And morph images, manipulated textual information, and forged and videos, and counterfeit information, which can be done with different dissemination platform, right? And these are popping in all around in the social networking, and they're kind of aggravating the current situation, right? And the situation is alarming, and the concern is expressed all over the globe. In particularly, if you see this image which I put up here, that UNESCO has also raised the concern, and it has come up with the official document, right, of of segregating like what kind of different disinformation and fake information. I would encourage you to have a look on it and see like how things are getting. Coming into this space, right, and how it is affecting our understanding of the current situation, right? So fake infodemic during the current situation is resulting into mishappenings, increased level of anxiety, and unforeseen incidences, right? Thus, countries and regulatory bodies must ensure that the flow of legitimate information has to be there, right? This is possible if every user is enabled to receive and forward only the authentic information, that is the truth or satya, I would say, right? And thus, in one of the work that I would share the link with you towards the end. We try to develop a prototype for a decentralized application that can mitigate this problem of fake information, and it helps the users to view the information which is authentic. Government can post the authentic information on the blockchain-based system, and nobody is able to tamper anything, even if you change one letter in the entire message. I mean, people are going to find it that this is not authentic, So this is very important challenge that we are facing, and we will continue to face this challenge if we do not take strict actions towards it, right? So distribution of funding in charity, right? Many organizations, for instance, World Bank or International Monetary Fund, they're offering loans and grants to overcome the economic crisis which have come due to ongoing pandemic COVID-19. But such funds should be fairly and transparently distributed to the needy people, right? However, it is difficult either due to either due to corruption or due to lack of proper automated system, right? Moreover, if a system can be, if a system can provide transparency, then people at large, people like us will be happy to donate, because we can see that our money is reaching out to the correct people till the end. We can see the transparent system and automated system is there, and thus more and more people will be motivated to donate money for the good cause, right? So here, this is another challenge, right? And in the next part, we'll see how these challenges can be mitigated, right? But these are challenges that we are facing right now. Okay. Another important challenge is the supply of medicine and healthcare equipment. Pandemic has given rise to huge demand of relevant medicines, I would say, and healthcare equipment such as face masks, sanitizers, and PPE, personal protective equipment, ventilators, and whatnot. Without the proper resilient supply chain management, their supply can be hampered, and this can aggravate the situation, right? And we cannot deny the possibility of vendors hiding the availability of such essential healthcare items with them, just to create artificial inflate in the prices, right? To gain more profits, they can do. I mean, we cannot ignore this possibility, right? Also, there's a possibility of counterfeit of products that does not meet the quality compliance of, because it's something which is directly related to health, so it has to have a very precise compliance with the regulatory bodies, policies, and all, right? All right, so these are few challenges which I mentioned just now. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list. I mean, there are n number of other challenges. Of course, due to time constraint, I won't be able to discuss everything. I mean, it would take hours together to discuss everything. But I mean, these are some of the challenges which I think are important when we are talking about use of blockchain for combating COVID-19. And I would just mention that COVID-19 has been identified as one of the 10 key technologies that can play a vital role in overcoming the current problem or the current challenges which have risen due to COVID-19 pandemic. All right. Okay, so with this, I think we will go towards the second part, which is how we can use blockchain to fight against COVID-19, right? So let's get started. So here this is a kind of an a kind of a panoramic view of how we can use blockchain. This comes from one of our recent work that got published in IEEE Journal, Engineering Management Review. You can have a look at it, and of course, much of what I'm talking today comes from this work of ours, right? So, as I mentioned, blockchain has been considered as one of the key enabling technologies, as it can support myriad of use cases pertaining to COVID-19. Here you can see like a couple of interesting use cases we'll touch upon, and we'll see a couple of use cases out of these visible use cases, right? So because of the time restrictions, we'll look at just few of them, and I think for the rest, I would motivate you to have a look on the paper. All right. The first important use case, I think this is very important for the prevalent situation, right? So since the incubation of the coronavirus from its infection to symptom is approximately around or more than 5 days, thus it is important to identify all the social interactions that happened during this incubation period, right? So contact tracing is one of the form of so contact tracing basically in form of mobile application has emerged as a prominent way to control the spread of the COVID-19, right? And some of the technologies that have been used to drive such contact tracing applications are Bluetooth Low Energy, which is acronymed as BLE, then GPS Global Positioning System, Wi-Fi, and of course the underlying mobile network. For the moment it is 4G, but we'll be able to see 5G, right? However, the problem with these contact tracing application is that many of these applications are based on a centralized approach, right? What it means is that it senses the data. We have to keep our of course location on, and the mobile data on, and Bluetooth on. What it does, it sends all the contacts that have occurred, and then it uploads that data on a centralized server, right? Once you put that personal data of yours on the centralized server, then you don't have the control over who is looking on that data. If there is any security breach, then there is a privacy leakage, right? So I don't want, of course, for the purpose of confining the disease and stopping this disease and flattening the curve, I will allow that my personal data, let it be uploaded on the server, so that for a good cause. But I don't want somebody to look at every movement that I make, where I am at the moment, with whom I interacted, with whom I am talking. This is invasion of privacy, right? So so these applications for the moment, like the Trace Together by Singapore government, or Arogya Setu by Indian government, or COVID Safe by Australia, and Smith Stop by Norway. They are all contact tracing application in some form or another, and they are all having centralized servers. So that's the problem, right? People are not willing to install and make use of these applications, right? So as I said, though these applications are able to efficiently track contacts, nevertheless the biggest problem or the concern is the use of such application is the possibility of privacy invasion, right? That's why the way users the problem is that the way users' personal data and their movements are getting collected, they are kind of little skeptic about the use of such applications, right? Moreover, the collected data, as I said, is being stored and analyzed in a centralized cloud, and thus the user may lose the ownership of their data, right? Now here, the blockchain-based decentralized application for contact tracing has immense potential to ensure security and privacy at the same time, right? So privacy can be of different type. It can be users' privacy, like my personal date of birth, my the place where I'm living, the office that I'm working, the place where I go and eat, things like that, right? Or the data privacy, or the privacy from the known contacts. I don't want somebody who is looking on my movements, let's say in my extended family. I don't want to have that there are needs at times. So privacy from the known contacts, as well as privacy from the centralized bodies and authority board. Of course, for a good cause, I mean, we all understand it's good, but then if it can be anonymously done, it is much better, right? So blockchain with its features like pseudo-anonymity, immutable access logs, and smart contract based tight access control, and very tight control on the auditability. That means who is able to access it, and the bodies can audit these applications. The independent bodies can be given access with the help of smart contracts to audit that what all has happened, and who all have entered into the system and access the data and things like that, right? So we can very easily build trust among the users, if we make contact tracing applications which are based on blockchain, right? And there very recently I've seen like papers that have come and that have come and that have been published that have made a research with the use of that have made research where they use blockchain and the decentralized backend servers to create contact tracing applications. So I would encourage you to have a look at it, right? All right. So the next important use case is blockchain-based decentralized immigration ecosystem, right? As a strict measure, many countries have shut down their immigration checkpoints, be it airports, seaports, land ports, or rail ports, right? Gradually, but they are opening, of course, with a lot of precautions, right? Uh, but the problem is that travelers, they need to share their travel and medical history, all right? For instance, travelers are also asked to carry a COVID-19 test, which they have undergone for within last 24 hours at the time of immigration check. However, it is extremely difficult to verify the authenticity of these paper-based results. Right? I can carry a forged paper or a test result saying I'm negative, but probably it's a forged document, right? So the numerous questions arise here, like the lab that has carried out the test, is that authentic or not? Is the copy of the test result original and not tampered? Can result be tracked to the samples taken, etc.? Right? So has there been a mistake of in the result saying that the sample that was taken, can I track back then the sample that was taken was actually of mine? So these all things are very important, right? Moreover, travelers might have to share the real-time location once they enter into a foreign country. They might be, according to the governmental policy, they might be, asked to share, their real-time locations by installing the contact tracing applications that we just now discussed, which are in line with the government policies of the country the traveler is visiting, right? This again give rise to security and privacy issues, privacy being more important. So here, blockchain can provide a smarter solution by paving the way for secure and decentralized immigration ecosystem, integrating all sort of checkpoints, just now. In the seaports and the land ports, airports and rail ports, you can integrate, everything and create a larger blockchain-based immigration ecosystem. Countries can think of establishing a consortium type blockchain-based immigration system with well-defined interoperability, right? So that the countries they want to have let's say communication between their different checkpoints, or different countries want to have a communication. So there are a lot of other issues that we might not understand. So here, well-defined smart contracts and correctly designed and deployed smart contracts with clean interfaces can help to have interoperability, right? All right, so the next one is a system that can help you to share patients' information globally, which just now we saw during the challenges, right? So global data sharing among the healthcare collaborators is important, as it can help research communities across the globe. This means that medical silos need to be broken for a greater benefit of the humanity. Normally, the medical records they're kept very secretly, and they're confined, and they kind of are. So our system it's important actually to have such kind of arrangement, and keeping the information very safe and secure, right? But the need of the hour is that we need to break this medical silos, right? But again, the sharing of such information must be in compliance with the various privacy laws, right? Here there are different technologies that can all join hands together and create a global system that can help you to share a patient's information, right? For example, medical internet of things, MIoT, can be used to sense and communicate all the physical body parameters, right? And blockchain can offer a decentralized and temper persistent system to store patients' information or patients' data. Also, the 5G, which is on the way of getting deployed across the globe, is going to provide a solid underpinning for smart healthcare system, right? And there is another technology that is called as MEC, which stands for multi-access edge computing, which is one of the key enablers for 5G. This can allow the processing of the information at the edge of the network. So normally what happens is, our signals, of course, I understand, for some of the part of the audience, this might be a little more technical oriented, but it's good to know, at least at the first level. So the signals from our coming out or transmitted from our mobile phones, they reach to the antennas, or normally they are called as, traditionally they are called as base stations. Must have seen towers which are located around the cities, right? So usually these antennas, they do not do any kind of processing. They are just base stations, and they relay the information to the central mobile switching centers or offices, where it gets processed. And so with the 5G, what would happen is that, let not so just talk about the traditional 3G or 4G system. So here there is no processing, so the information gets routed through this with the help of this mobile network infrastructure, and it goes to the cloud servers. And at these cloud servers, which are actually centralized systems, the information gets processed over there and it gets back to you. So normally it would take at least about a couple of milliseconds. I would say usually it's order of seconds, that the information will go and gets processed and come back. But if, for an example, you are having a surgery where you need an expertise and the collaboration with the doctors and the team of doctors across the globe, one in, let's say, USA, another in Canada, or another in UK or Germany, then what you need is, you need to have a real-time processing and quick dissemination of information, right? Here in this scenario, 5G is going to play a big role, because it promises a latency of the order of 1 to 5 milliseconds, right? And also, if the information needs to be sent to the local hospital of the, let's say, city hospital of the critical condition of the patient, then delay in seconds could not be appreciated, right? So here, multi-access edge computing allows the processing to be done at the edge of the network. That means at adjacent to the base station or at the base station itself, right? And they can have they can set up like in a consortium blockchain or a private blockchain, and you can have mining going on at the edge of the network itself, right? All right, so let's move to another very important use case, which is probably very interesting for all of us, as we are all belonging to education fraternity, right? So education is indispensable part of our lives. That's very evident, right? But due to the current pandemic, the educational institutes are being closed by many countries, either completely or partially. In some countries, and they are allowing theory, the lectures or the theory classes to be delivered through the online platform, and of course, with the restriction of the students, they are allowing laboratory sessions to take place physically, right? But it all depends upon which country is undergoing which kind of situation, right? So thus the education ecosystem is going through an unforeseen paradigm shift, from offline to online, from chalkboard, pen and notebook to pointers, stylus and tablets and apps. from controlled and traditional environment where students' progress can be monitored. It has shifted to uncontrolled environment, right? So online education system lacks maturity because this was not expected that we are gonna make a drastic and a step change in our teaching methodologies in just a couple of months, right? So so the stakeholders are facing tough times, and the stakeholders are like our students, our parents, our professors, and companies who are willing to recruit these young talents, and the government regulatory bodies, and the school management and all. So we are all a part of this education ecosystem, and we are having tough time right now. So educational activities are like tracing of students' progress, conduction of online exams, education process, etc. They all require personal human interaction. Also, as I mentioned yesterday, issuing and sharing of students' credential must be done in secure and quick way. Students cannot go down to universities and schools these days to get a paper-based document, which is a transcript or a degree or diploma certificate, and then send it across the post to a company who is hiring. So things need to be done in a different way now, right? And a lot of research activities even publishing and reviewing of the papers, this has to be done in a more anonymous. You must have heard about single blind peer review and double blind peer review. So in this system also, I have encountered my friends talking about they approach to one of the journals, very reputed journals. So everything I am saying is what I have heard from my friend, right? So he approached apparently to one of the very reputed journal, right, SCI in the journal, and he expressed the request for being a reviewer, and the journal replied that you have been our reviewer for the last couple of years by now already. And it was a kind of a surprise to my friend that that how come this is possible, so somebody has kind of take this is kind of an impersonation, right, attack. Somebody has taken the identity of someone and has done something, right? And these kind of things, believe me, we might not think that this is very we might think that this is very rare, but of course there are a lot of possibilities. Just try to go through and try to find. There are a lot of things that are happening, right? And usually what we do when we make a collaborative research, then we rely on the emails and probably the applications like WhatsApp or Skype or something. But we do not have the logs of all the communication that has been done. Somebody can say that I mean, this is all a very much possible situation, but we cannot deny the possibility of such situations, right? So these all these kind of online education, publishing and reviewing and collaborative research work, and admissions, and conducting online examinations, and they all require transparency, security, and as well as privacy, right? Doing with a kind of traditional centralized system will pose a lot of questions, right? Here I think blockchain-based online education system can potentially resolve all these issues, right? So, for instance, public blockchain with off-chain storage can be used for fast, efficient, and secure issuing and sharing of verifiable student credential. And this is one of the work which I showed yesterday of mine, which is trying to create a decentralized application for secure sharing of student credentials, so that every stakeholder can either issue or share, and the students can share and company can view. So everything is done in a decentralized way, so that once it is done, I mean, you can trace back and you can see the provenance of these records. That means you can see like from which source actually issued this transcript, who all viewed these transcripts of the students, and student can govern and can control the access to their credentials. Nobody should be able to get an access to their private data, right? So universities and governmental regulatory bodies can establish. So they're different, as I said, that there are different type of blockchain. So public blockchain can be probably used for sharing and secure sharing and issuing of students' credentials, whereas universities, government bodies, and schools and other institutes or research laboratories, they can establish a kind of a private consortium blockchain for exchange of authentic information like accreditation process or academic audits and much more, right? So all this can be very easily be done with blockchain. So these are a couple of use cases. I can go on, and get into more details of it, and they are all very interesting from the research perspective. And I think if somebody wants to later on, work on any of this interesting research directions, I feel free to contact with me. I'll be happy to collaborate on some research works, right? All right, so let's move towards the last part of this session, and here we are going to talk about different challenges and the possible solutions. Of course, this is going to be much more technical, as these are challenges which are either directly related to the blockchain technology, or they are also related to the legal aspects, the frameworks and all. I think it is going to be interesting for you all. So it's time to look at the challenges and the possible solutions that can pave the way ahead and help us to harness the maximum potential of the blockchain technology. All right. So of course there are n number of different challenges, but I think these are some of the most evident and clear challenges that we encounter when we talk about the blockchain technology and its use. All right. So we'll touch upon all these technical challenges within the time constraint that I have been given. So the security, privacy, scalability in terms of storage, throughput and latency, and legal issues, and if the time permits, we'll look at a bounce back towards centrality. All right. So far everything is fine. Everything is fine so far, so good. Can somebody respond? All right, fine. Thank you for responding, because it's very important to know that that I am audible, because at times the internet can go down and I might not be audible and I might be talking to myself. All right, so let's start with the first challenge, which is security, right? Of course, you must have heard so far that that blockchain is much more popular, and it's much more useful because it provides security. But security still is a challenge, because if you see, you just look at the different kind of attacks that have been made in past on various cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin or Zencash or any other. So there's still possibility, like Ethereum also went under attack. So there is, of course, it is very, very difficult, but still we cannot deny the possibility of having security glitches, right? So blockchain is also prone to various kind of security attacks, and let's just see some of them. And the first one is 51% attack, right? So 51% majority attack here. If more than 51% of the total distributed and disparate mining facility start colluding, So far, so if it is public blockchain, we don't know, like, that miners are, of course, spread across the globe, but who are there, we don't know. But even then, if the 51 if the more than 51% of this total global mining facility, they start colluding, that means collaborating in a malicious way, then the blockchain can be mutated, because it's a decentralized and it's a democratic way of managing database, right? So if more than 51% of the computing or the hashing facility or mining facility, they start colluding, then of course you can alter the blockchain, right? So of course it appears that appears to be least probable, but there are various attacks that are considered that are considered to fall under this kind of category. And these attacks, some of them I have mentioned, like Monocoin attack in May 2018, Zencash attack in June 18, Bitcoin private attack in October 2018, and of course WorldCoin attack December 2018. Very recently, we also had one attack on one of the cryptocurrencies. So of course, it looks less probable that these unknown and not knowing miners will not, because the incentive model is like that, that they are all kind of competitors of each other. They would not be willing to collaborate with each other. But still, if a malicious software is installed by an attacker and it gets disseminated across the entire facility and somehow tries to capture the control, then this can happen. By the time people will notice, the owners of the mining facility or the administrator of the system, such facility will notice it might have altered a couple of blocks already. All right. So this is possible, yeah, and the attacks show this. Also, I think I can touch upon this point as well, right? There are different consensus algorithm, proof of work, proof of attack, proof of stake, proof of authority, and proof of burn and all. But unlike proof of work consensus algorithm, the other lightweight consensus algorithms like proof of stake and delegated proof of stake, proof of authority, etc., they are comparatively more prone to this 51% attack, right? And the increasing trend, if you remember, yesterday I talked about mining pools. So these mining pools, if they start collaborating in a malicious way, that means they start colluding, then it can also lead to create such kind of an 51% majority attack. All right. Another attack, another security attack is called as selfish mining, right? So selfish mining leverages the fact that a blockchain network accepts the longest chain. So imagine that because of the latency of the network, because every miner is independently processing and mining new blocks and appending to its local copy of the blockchain, right? So in selfish mining, what can happen? So normally, what happens is if there are if there can be kind of temporal inconsistency in the blockchain network, meaning that some miners have a different chain, and other can have different blockchain, right? That means database. But normally, what happens is even though there is a temporal inconsistency, the miner which is having, or the set of miners that are having longest longer chain, that chain gets accepted by all the other miners. So they will accept the blockchain with the longest chain, right? So here, if given this fact, it may happen that that a miner keeps mining and connecting new blocks locally without broadcasting it. Usually, when a miner mines a new block, it should connect or append it to its local copy of the blockchain and should broadcast it to all the other miners in the network. But there can be a selfish miner, because the aim is to earn more rewards, right? So such kind of selfish mining can happen when a miner keeps mining and connecting new blocks locally without broadcasting it to other miners. And when it manages to create a longer chain, sufficiently longer than what other miners have, then it broadcasts this longer chain to other miners, right? And since that miner has a longer chain, it gets accepted by all the other miners, right? And if this chain gets accepted, all the rewards goes to this miner, right? So of course, this kind of selfish mining can be done to get more rewards, but at the same time, it can be done to allow double spending, right? In form of Feni attack. Double spending is a traditional problem, right? That means you should not spend. If you have a fiat currency, that means if you have a paper-based currency, you cannot spend the same money once you have spent it, right? But if it is a digital or a cryptocurrency, it gives you because it's not in a physical form, right? So it's ultimately bits and bytes. So there is a problem of this double spending that where you try to spend the same money and buy and make two different transactions, which is illegally, which is not legal, right? Which is not correct. But this kind of selfish mining can allow you to do those, can allow attackers to do so. All right. So as I just now mentioned, Feni attack is another kind of double spending attack. Where what happens is a node pre-mines a block but does not broadcast it for a small duration, right? And this block actually contains one of the transactions that an attacker wants to double spend. So please try and understand that there is an attacker who has made a transaction, right, and has spent already that some money, and this transaction is now mined by one of the selfish miner, or let's say a miner which is under control of an attacker, and now the block is already mined and it's connected to the local copy of the blockchain. But for the time being, it does not broadcast it. If it does not broadcast, then the other miners in the network will not know that the transaction has happened, right? And so that miner holds the block for certain duration, and during that time, this attacker tries to spend the same money, right? And so attacker tries to transact the same money with another merchant who accepts unconfirmed transactions, right? So since the blockchain system takes some amount of time to mine a new block, and by the time unless and until the block is mined, the transaction does not get confirmed and it does not get logged in the blockchain, right? So usually what happens is if I go to a shopkeeper and the shopkeeper, if he or she accepts blockchain payments, or a crypto payments, it might happen that I show the transaction that I have made it, right? Of course, it is disseminated, and so the shopkeeper accepts unconfirmed transaction because he knows that he has that. Let's say I have $10 and I have transacted $2, and if I've transmitted it, then of course it will get confirmed, right? But the shopkeeper doesn't know that that I have already used that money, and that has been pre-mined in one of pre-mined by one of the miners, right? And the moment the shopkeeper gives the good to him, he then that miner then releases that block, right? So you can have double spending still in blockchain based system, right? Another problem is called race around attack, right? This is similar to Feni attack. However, instead of pre-mining the block, attacker sends two simultaneous transactions, which is trying to spend the same money, right? So one transaction is one transaction is sent to the node that is directly connected to the target merchant, right? So this is a kind of an attack. So the attacker tries to find out that to which miner or to which node this shopkeeper is connected, and it will transmit one transaction and will send it to that particular miner, and it will create another transaction trying to spend the same money, that is trying to do double spending, and that another transaction is broadcasted to the rest of the network. And since the blockchain is a decentralized system, what all majority would say will be true, and that way this attack can be mounted, right? Also, there is a distributed denial of service. When you're trying to bring down the server, you keep on just sending sending a fake request, just to hog the facility, and the entire system gets down. So by that way you are able to able to slow down the entire process, and maybe other things can happen meanwhile. Another kind of attack which are getting more popular is the attacks at the entry point itself, like wallet hijacking. Blockchain being very much secure, of course, these attacks are difficult to mount, which I have just now mentioned, 51% attack or Finney attack or race around attack. For a normal user, it is for a normal attacker, or for a usual attacker, I would say it is very difficult to penetrate the blockchain-based system. So what they try to do is they try to hijack the blockchain application's wallet itself, right? And then instead of, when I'm pressing 5 and I'm trying to send 5, let's say 5 unit of data, or let's say if I'm trying to send one document, the other documents, since the wallet is hijacked, the attacker can in between do the manipulation, and I might see that I have just transmitted 5 unit of currency, or let's say one document, but the other documents can be can be attached by the attacker before it is pushed to the blockchain system. All right. So another issue in this space is emergence of quantum computing. You must have heard by now about the Google's quantum computing facility. So this can lead to hacking of computationally secure cryptographic operations, right? So computationally secure cryptographic operations are the ones so when we if there is a system which is computationally secure, it says that you can break the system, but you can break the system in a couple of hundreds of years, right? So by the time you break such system, the use and the pertinence of the data is already gone. So even if you are able to crack such kind of system, you will not get anything fruitful, right? One cannot do it in the lifetime. It will take hundreds of years. So those systems are computationally intensive today, but with the emergence of quantum computing, you can think of, you can imagine that maybe they can bring it to, let's say, a couple of months and to, or maybe a couple of years, right? So, yeah. So that's another problem, right? So we need to build a kind of better encryption techniques, for example, homomorphic signatures or trusted execution environment, TEE, that can be used to improve the security of the smart contracts, right? Further, we also should look we also should make early efforts in the direction to build quantum resistant blockchain, right? So probably if there are technical people in this in the group of audience, then they think about working in this direction, where you kind of come up with quantum cryptographic techniques, which are not breakable by even quantum computing facilities. All right. Okay. So another important thing is privacy, right? So blockchain has this problem, right? If it is a public blockchain, that means the copy of the ledger is distributed to all the nodes, and the transactions are transparent. Of course, this problem is less intense if you're using consortium blockchain or private blockchain, right? Further, depending upon depending upon the type of blockchain and the depending upon the different kind of methods for data collection, processing, and storing and viewing, you can think of what kind of blockchain you want to use, what type of blockchain you want to use, right? And these at times, the way you are collecting public, where you are collecting private information, that can also lead to non-compliance to privacy laws, which is a big deal now, right? It's people are very sensitive to this now. How you are collecting, why you are collecting this information, and what for what purpose, and you are using this. So this is very important, right? So some of the COVID-19 use cases that suffer with the privacy challenges are, as I mentioned, are contact tracing, private patient information sharing, immigration checks, automated surveillance, and contactless delivery, online education involving sharing of credentials, and research collaborations, right? Also, pseudonymity is one of the way to protect users' privacy in public permission-less blockchain, where fresh and ephemeral pseudonymous identities can be used, right? So normally what happens is for every transactions, your blockchain wallet is going to create a new fresh address, and it will make a new transaction, so that people are not able to, so that trackers are not able to link the different addresses and get the personal information, right? Even if you do not know that this address belongs to whom, but you know that this address actually got 5,000 rupees, and then it is spent there and there, and so by that way you can get the private information, right? So it was he paid over there, so some kind of store must be there, so he must be so this kind of all analysis can be done, right? And there are companies like Chain Analysis and Elliptic that are offering services to identify the owners of the digital wallet, right? And as reported in this paper by Das Gupta and all, Internal Revenue Services, IRS of US, has started using services of a chain analysis company to find the people who are cheating on their taxes, right? So that means, I mean, it is important, of course, for this purpose. It is good to do so. You should one should not cheat on taxes and all. But imagine if it can be done for a good purpose, it can be done for the other purposes, right? So even though there is no link between the transaction and the identity of the user in the physical world, still the features of transparency can be compromised, like data privacy, right? And the solutions are mixing services like CoinJoin or Mixcoin, or using the Onion router. This is a kind of called Tor, right? So this is a kind of anonymous communication where everything is encrypted and communication happens in encrypted form. And there are other solutions like attributed based encryption or privacy enhancing technologies, PET. All right. Another challenge is the scalability in terms of storage, right? So important use of blockchain for COVID-19 is as I mentioned, is a contact tracing or sharing of patients' information, supply chain management, or even e-governance, right? But the problem is that the amount of data that is generated by such kind of application is enormous, right? And very soon the storage capacities will be depleted, right? So the deployment also, the deployment of 5G services will provide the much underpinning for multitude of IoT applications. But again, the more and more you have underlying infrastructure, the more data the users will be able to produce. And if you have blockchain-based applications or blockchain-based IoT systems, then since blockchain, blockchain does not allow deletion. So you will have much and more requirement for storage capacities, right? And the point is that these IoT data, for example, temperature of a boiler or the design precision of an IIoT, that is industrial Internet of Things based systems. What the readings or the sense data are important for particular duration of time, and after that time the data is no more important because the product has been designed, and I mean you don't need that data anymore, right? So such data are time bounded and they are localized. It's not so for an example, I mean, for example, you have a local telecommunication exchange in your city, and the traffic here in this exchange might not be important to the international traffic exchange, which might be, let's say, in Delhi or Mumbai or somewhere. So this kind of data might be of local use and not for global use. So it need not to be stored everywhere. So the solution in this direction is to have a kind of off-chain system, which I mentioned yesterday, if you remember, or the side chain. The idea of the side chain is to have a secondary blockchain which is connected to the main blockchain using a two-way peg mechanism that allows bidirectional transfer of assets between the two chains, right? And the side chains can have their own protocol, and for example, main chain can have let's say a proof of work a consensus algorithm or other peer-to-peer communication protocol, and this side chain which is kind of connected to the main chain can have a different consensus algorithm, and their implementation can also be different, right? And they just need to be connected with the main chain, right? So the main chain can be offloaded with the help of side chains, and multiple secondary blockchains can be deployed at the first level to store and maintain local data, whereas fingerprints or the hashes of the fingerprints can be computed in numerous ways, but just for instance, the hashes of this data stored in the first level, that is these first level blockchain can be, I'm talking about hierarchical blockchain, right? So this, you can have one blockchain at level 1, and then on top you can have level 2, and then as you need you can go, and that way you can offload the chains, and you can have different way of communicating with each other. All right. So also there's another thing which is called as SPV, simple payment verification method, if I'm not wrong. So here you are allowed to have a lightweight or thin client, right? If you are just a user of the blockchain system, if you just install a blockchain Bitcoin wallet, or let's say any wallet of a blockchain based application, then you might not be willing to have the entire database. All that you need is just to use such application, right? And so here you can make use of this simplified payment verification method, right? Which actually a lot of cryptocurrencies are making use of. I think Bitcoin also makes use of it. So I encourage you to read more about it. Because of time constraint, I might not be able to go into details. By the way, how much time do I have? So I have about 25 minutes, right? 20 minutes. All right, so I think
So you can continue, so no problem.
Sorry?
So you can continue, though it's still 20 minutes time is there.
Right, yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so another challenge that we have as far as blockchain is concerned is the throughput latency, right? So throughput defines how many transactions per unit time you can process, right? And latency is the total time transpires or that goes once you have sent a transaction until the time it gets confirmed and block is mined and everybody gets the new block in which the transaction is there, right? So throughput and latency are important, right? And what you need is more throughput and low latency, right? As of now, there are different blockchain systems, right? There are different blockchain platform. For example, Ethereum, it can process for the moment, I think, 10 to 15 transactions per second, and Bitcoin can process about 5 to 10 transactions per second, right? So this is a challenge, that we need to have more throughput and less latency, though they are related, because the reason is that there is inherent latency which is mostly ascribed to the time required to verify a transaction coming from a user, and then mine a new block, right? The time required to establish a consensus across the network is actually the time it is taking to confirm a transaction, right? And that's why you have less throughput and you have high latency, because unless until a new block is mined, your transaction is not confirmed, right? So here there can be different solutions that can help speed up. That means you can achieve more throughput and low latency, and these are sharding and efficient yet secure consensus algorithm or layer 2 approach, right? So sharding is a way to actually divide the entire network. That means an entire group of nodes forming a network into different groups, and then instead of asking all the miners to simultaneously work on a same set of transactions, the transactions can be splitted and different groups can be given different set of transactions to process, and that's how you can parallelize and you can speed up the process. But of course, in terms of security, it might have it is a point to be analyzed, and more research has to be more research efforts has to be put in this direction, right? So here the questions will be like, how do you decide that how many shards that you can create, and what should be the optimal size of the shard that you should have, and things like that, right? And layer 2 approaches are like off-chain system, right? Okay, so I think another interesting, and this one is not much technical, but still it is very relevant, and it will define how quickly the blockchain is getting accepted by the business world, is and this challenge is about legal issues, right? And today most of the commercial and business laws are becoming obsolete as far as blockchain based systems are concerned, because they have an assumption of an hierarchical structure, right? Usually there is a one signing and a legally responsible authority in every organization. And blockchain allows a decentralized organization where there is no central legal authority or a responsible person, and the overall functioning is the responsibility of self-enforcing smart contracts, right? So the questions like who bears the ownership and the legal liability if anything goes wrong, then to whom should I approach? If I lose something in terms of monetary or in terms of any asset of any digital asset of value, then what do I do about it, right? So are there any legal frameworks for that? So also, if a smart contract is found to be erroneous, then who's to be blamed? The one who wrote the smart contract, or the one who verified the smart contract, or the kind of a communication gap that happened between the two parties, and this kind of dispute has to be settled, and this is something where we need to do research and come up with frameworks. Also, as I mentioned yesterday a little, there are different privacy laws applicable to different continents and countries, and if I launch a transaction here in India, and if the miner located in Europe is mining it, then it's a matter of concern that which privacy law will be applicable, because data is actually stored there and not in India, right? So, to whom to approach and which privacy law is going to be applicable? This is something very, very important, right? So what we need is to establish new legal frameworks, right? Maybe more collaborative efforts are needed in this direction. The people from the law world, the legal people have to sit together with the computer science world, and maybe have a kind of a system where an agreement can be properly scrutinized and verified. We need to have tools before we deploy a smart contract. Maybe we need to have tools to just put in the smart contracts and check what all vulnerabilities it has, and fix those vulnerabilities, so that it becomes much more stronger in terms of security and privacy protection, as well as it satisfies all the agreements that must have been established between the two parties who are transacting, or two companies, or different scenarios, right? So I think this is very important. Here, maybe more efforts can be made from the people, from the management side, from the legal people, and from the computer science, all collaborating together. So that's why the blockchain-based systems cannot be developed by just computer science people in silos. It has to be in collaborative effort, and much more efforts have to be put in, so that the technology evolves and matures, and it gets accepted by the business world, right? I think and that's all from my side. Thank you all for patiently listening to me, and I now invite you all, if you have any doubts or any questions, and if I know, maybe I can answer a few of them. Yeah, so please feel free to ask questions. Maybe if I don't have answer right now, I can think about it, and I can search more and get back to you later on. Yeah, so any questions?
Participants, you can ask your questions, or you can post it in a chat box. Sir is waiting.
Of course, you can. You can post as the ma'am said. And also, if you have anything that comes to your mind later on, you can write to me, and I'll try my level best to respond it within the due time.
So one question from Krishnamurthy sir.
Yes, I saw the question.
Yeah.
So how to inject SQL injection to perform web application? So So the point is that this kind of attack, SQL injection attack, of course, this is listed among one of the top 10 OWASP attack, right? There's one body that comes up with the top 10 list. So the point is that SQL injections, they are very much pertinent to web applications, right, which are decentralized applications. But here, because of here in decentralized application, because of the entire way they have been developed and the underlying cryptographic techniques that have been used. It is, I think, not that easy to have SQL injection kind of attack here, because if you are launching any request in the blockchain based system, you have to put your digital signature, and for that you need to have your private key, and if you are not an authentic user, you will not have a private key and you will not be able to sign it. At the same time, if somehow, let's say, I mean, of course, it is not going to be a practical assumption, but if somehow you are trying to able to tap in the private key of the user and are able to still send some request in the system, and you are able to impersonate someone, then also the blockchain based system is taking log of everything. So as I said yesterday, so blockchain based system, they are immutable, but lately people have started saying that blockchain based system are tamper resistant, so everything, even the attacks, will be registered, right? So I think it is going to be it is much more difficult to have SQL injection, provided that your private key is not compromised, and at the same time you don't have I mean, the smart contracts are not designed with any vulnerabilities, right? So if you keeping these things in mind, I think it is going to be very difficult to have to mount an SQL injection attack in decentralized application. So another question I think from Dr. Ravi Shankar is that what is altcoin and how blockchain helps it. So altcoin is not, it's a kind of a word that they are using for alternate coins, that because initially in 2008 the year marks the advent of Bitcoin, right? And that is the most dominant till date cryptocurrency. But today, if you try to Google and if you try to find like how many different type of cryptocurrencies are there, then there are more than 1,000 cryptocurrencies that exist today, right? So that is why altcoin is basically way to just say that all the other alternate coins, Bitcoin and altcoin, So, and how blockchain is helpful in that is that the underlying technology that is powering Bitcoin or Zencoin or Ethereum or any other coin, Ripple or WorldCoin, anything, if you talk about the underlying technology is most of the time blockchain. So that's how the blockchain is. So blockchain is actually powering and driving these cryptocurrencies today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, before I sign off, one more time, I would say that if anybody is interested to work on in any direction, please feel free to contact. And also, if you have any doubt, you can write it later on as well. Of course, I understand, because so much of information is being poured, you would take time. It usually take everybody would take some time to to sink in all the information and assimilate it. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Any queries from the participant side?
Thank you, everyone.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and taking session on application of blockchain during COVID-19 pandemic and blockchain ecosystem. Really, we had very splendid time with you, sir, and excellent presentation also. The content delivered by you also very excellent, sir. Really, I will. It will be a great pleasure on just spending time with you, sir, in these 2 days. I would like to thank you on behalf of JNTUA School of Management Studies and Directorate of Faculty Development and IQAC for taking sessions on this FDP program, which is on application of emerging technologies in business. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
ma'am.
your support and encouragement towards the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. The more I discuss, the more I try to explore this wonderful technology. Thank you, everyone, for patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, participants. Hope all of you are here. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, madam.
If all of you are just please turn on your video. I'm going for screenshot so that it will be easy for me to evaluate who are attending, who are not attending. Please turn on your video. All the participants. Please turn on your video. One second.
Still, most of the participants, they are not turning on their cameras. You can turn on your webcam so that we can take a screenshot of all participants. Only few of them they are switch on their web cameras. Varalakshmi madam, everything is fine, madam?
Yeah, everything is fine, sir. No problem.
Okay, fine, madam.
So, I'm waiting for remaining participants. Please turn on your video. Rani ma'am, you can just turn off your video. Balakoteshwari ma'am, you can turn off your video because I had taken a screenshot. No problem. So Ramnath sir, you can also turn off your video. Next, Deepa Rani ma'am, you can also turn off your video. Shaman sir, you can also turn off your video. Rani ma'am, please turn off your video ma'am.
Okay.
Balakoteshwari ma'am, please turn off your video ma'am. Shamala ma'am, please reposition your camera. Okay, so all of you can, yeah. Ramakrishna ma'am, Manoj sir, Shamala ma'am, and Kanyadara ma'am, please turn off your video. Manoj sir, please turn off your video. So Kamalakar sir, Shivashankar sir, Ramakrishna ma'am, Lavanya ma'am, Trisha ma'am, Shifa ma'am, please turn off your video. So remaining, Daftari sir, Lavanya ma'am, please turn off your video. Trisha ma'am also, please turn off your video. So Sunil sir, please stay. Your screenshot is not captured. Sir, Daftari sir, please turn on your video. Yeah. Krishnamurti sir, Sunil Kumar sir, Suresh ma'am, Lavanya ma'am, Srilata ma'am, Nagashikati ma'am, please turn off your video so that other people will listen. Yeah. Sir, Chaudhary sir, you can also turn off your video, sir. Sir, Sunil Kumar sir, please turn off your video, sir. Lavanya ma'am, please turn off your video. Suhasini ma'am, please turn off your video. Srilata ma'am, please turn off your video. Thank you. So Jackie sir, Lakshmi ma'am, Dasali sir, Lavanya ma'am, Maheshwari ma'am, and Maheshwari ma'am, please turn off your video. Sir, Venkaya Chaudhary sir, please turn off your video, sir. Turn off. So Dasali sir, you can also turn off your video so that other will get chance. Lakshmi ma'am, you can also turn off your video. Already the screenshot is captured. Okay, participants, thank you all of you. Please join the validity section after 5 minutes, or you can also stay in the meeting. And already I posted the overall feedback link and today's afternoon feedback link in the chat box. We will post the exam link after the validity. So those participants who are interested to give their feedback, so you can give at the time of the validity. Thank you. So the validity function will start shortly at 10 to 4. It means 3:50 p.m. Thank you.